Hey, how you doing guys? ZDEyE here. So today I wanted to go over all of the new information and the news regarding Cyberpunk 2077. Now there was actually a financial call regarding how did CD Projekt RED in 2019 has done and how well they performed. But because of this, we actually got some new info regarding the game as well, Cyberpunk. Now I have listened to whole thing through as well, and I did a bit of a summarization with the bullet points as well. I will list them by just telling you all about it as well, that I thought was relative, and also we got some extra tidbits of information I'll go over right after. Now, the virus, as we know it, isn't going to be affecting its release, well at least it shouldn't, but that's what we actually have heard about the initial launch of in Cyberpunk's game in April as well. CD Projekt RED was very confident to release the game in April, but look at how that turned out to be. In fact, they had to delay by 5 months or so. And so, yeah, don't believe this. It's always a possibility that closer we get to the release date, the less confident CD Projekt RED can be about releasing their game during that time. Again, since the game was in the oven for so long and cooking and polishing up as well, it's gonna be, it may, I'm not saying it will, but it may have a similar issues that Last of Us Part 2 could also be shaping up to be. Simply in a vault, staying up there in the shelf, doing nothing until we get our hands on the experience, all because of the current pandemic that's happening in the world. Well, that's unfortunate news in some regards, but that's not exactly giving us too much confidence. Now, they have also obtained the vast majority of the ratings of the game already. Now, the game was submitted of the rating early in the March, but now they have obtained the vast majority, like I already have mentioned, the ratings, so there's no risk for them not obtaining ratings for the game in any major markets. So that's actually kind of gives a bit of a more confidence regarding the release of the game as well. The other bullet point, as we continue, some things like picking up sessions for voice acting will be inserted into the game with the day one patch, if of course the situation in the world prevents actors from going for a recording studio and finishing up the sessions. I don't necessarily know how will this be a problem or not for the early people that got an opportunity to get their hands on the game as well, but yes, day one patch will be very, very essential, it seems. Of course, again, it depends on the pandemic and how long will it last. Marketing scenario, due to this issue that we having in the world, has been decided upon since the middle of February that they're working on a digital strategy to replace their E3 2020 content and the representation. So they're gonna be concentrating differently how they want to approach their game with the marketing wise. Now, also talking about the physical copies and the retailers that they refer to the stores closing that they already know about, they are looking at the global situation, and of course they're hoping that everything will get better, and by the things that as we get closer to September. Now, they have also a few scenarios in place for different world events and stuff, like digital release at launch is one of them. No major shifts in current plans at the moment, at least not yet, because we're still too early till that date, till that month, I should even say. Now, Spoko mobile title is still not being talked about. It's playable and being internally tested. Now, they have touched on a little bit about it, something regarding the title of the Spoko. I thought about, just including it in here. Maybe you guys may know more about it than I. But also postponing the game launch, like The Last of Us Part 2, like I already have mentioned, are actually being considered, mainly because The Last of Us Part 2 not really worried about the September 17th release date, to other games being pushed near there. Now planning to move the September 17th date regardless of the other games being pushed to September, because obviously the Cyberpunk is a far bigger hitter than any other games out, in the recent years. It's a caliber to the Grand Theft Auto standards, so CD Projekt RED is completely not scared about it. So in fact, other games that get closer to September, they should be more scared about this, about their own games. Now, they're not disclosing details on the Cyberpunk's pre-orders, but they are happy in a way that they are progressing. It has always been the plan not to share the specifics on that. Seems like everything is okay going with the pre-orders, but let's continue. The new title I'm talking about the multiplayer for the Cyberpunk, will be talked about after Cyberpunk's 2077 release. More will be revealed, of course, about this, but they are focusing just, simply releasing the game first, and they also keep on hiring and growing the teams for their games. At the end of 2019 through the first quarters of 2020, they have expenses for the localization and testing as well. Now, 600 people are working on Cyberpunk 2077. Some members are actually on a multiplayer team, are helping to finish up with the game. A majority of the CD Projekt RED studios are working on the single player, the Cyberpunk game, of course, the main game. Now, they're also very comfortable with the release date, as it's left to do is just small things like certification from the first party, the day zero patch, and fixing and polishing. The game is already in a complete form. It is done, basically. Now it's all about fixing and just simply polishing until this September, and that's all that's left is just simply manufacturing as well. Some manufacturing already actually commencing at the moment as we're speaking as well. Talking about a little bit manufacturing physical copies of CD Projekt RED Cyberpunk, it's actually not going to be embedded in any way. It's already underway in some form. Physical manufacturing is still occurred for other games from other companies. Like the impact of the virus is less than they thought on the manufacturing side. It seems like there's no foreseeable damage on the manufacturing shipping side of things, that they hope that this September is going to be better than now for everyone. So it seems like this is not going to be much of an issue, at least not yet. Current testing of Cyberpunk 2077 is currently being undertaken by both internal and the external testers. External testers work from their home through the VPN and are double the amount that they have used from The Witcher 3. Pre-orders of the Cyberpunk on consoles are actually lower than PC. Console numbers are embedded by the console platformers holders not paying advance on the incentivize. This is actually a bit of a surprise personally to me, since actually the consoles should be the ones usually getting more pre-orders instead of the PC, because you know how PC crowders they like to pirate their games as well. Some are actually genuine and actually make their purchases as well. But yes, next up is also that the next gen dev kits, they actually already have them. Smart delivery will be used for free. Next gen update for the Xbox Series X, when that version of the Cyberpunk is going to be available, of course. There's just no word as well regarding this next gen free update for the PlayStation 5, and there will be some kind of separate SKU for the next gen version as well, which will be available later on. But unfortunately, they could not comment on that since it's the first party policy as well for the on the Sony's and PS5 part as well. To be honest with you, I do expect it to have a similar treatment as this Xbox Series X as well has. But of course, we're gonna find out more during closer to summer or the time when the summer does come. I definitely wanted to touch on as well that it's been clarified that the DLCs for the Cyberpunk 2077 are going to be happening, but they're not ready to disclose that yet. And also, there is going to be a similar amount as The Witcher 3 had, so this means 2, but there's also always is a possibility for the game to get up to 3 to 4, but that depends on the CD Projekt RED and how that will perform with the DLCs as well and the main game too. Well, that was pretty much all of the bullet points that I wanted to go over regarding Cyberpunk. Again, I'm not too confident about the release date. I'm only gonna get more confident until closer we get to the September. Let's say it's already September, then yes, it's 100% guaranteed it's going to be coming out during that time. When the game goes golden, when the game goes gold, that's when CD Projekt RED cannot delay their game, no matter what, because it's been already done, it's done, and it's gonna be coming out. But until then, we have no guarantee. We have to wait at least till, I would say maybe middle or end of July, somewhere that around there, to be even more confident to say that if the game is gonna get delayed by that time or not. If it's not, actually we may have good news, then the game will definitely be coming in September 17th. But yes, can you believe this, guys? Most likely about now, a lot of us would have been getting our hands on the game already, even playing it too, if it would have been coming out in April. But again, from the delay and the unforeseen circumstances, we're not. God damn it. Anyway, well, that's all there is to it. I just wanted to make this a bit of a bullet points nice and presentable as well. Alright, well, thank you again so much for watching. Like and subscribe. See you guys all later. And yeah, have a good one.